Today, class is in session and we're talking all things homework. Now, I was doing my little reading and I came across an article by Elfie Kohn. During my article reading moments, I came across a title that says Rethinking Homework. And I read the title and it provoked some thoughts, and some old thoughts and some new thoughts.
Too much homework harming our kids.
That kids don't like homework, they hate it, they don't like doing it, they don't like being forced to do it. And it is not just kids, it's also parents. Parents don't like the idea of kids bringing a lot of homework, and it sort of does play into the relationship between the child and the parent when it comes to helping with the homework. And parents sometimes feel very lacking, or they've got other things to do. Then it becomes the responsibility of the teacher to make sure that the learner does their homework. But how does one person who's not there make sure that a child participates?
But have you seen that new math though? I think parents might need a therapist because they're trying to help their kids with like the math.
Titled Rethinking Homework, which is not biased, not trying to enforce any thoughts on anyone, impose any thoughts on anyone, but rather to open a dialogue and have a conversation about whether or not kids should be given homework at school. And if you have been paying any attention, anyone who's been paying attention would notice that kids do not like homework. And parents would prefer their kids not to be given homework. Most parents anyway. So which then becomes the responsibility of the educator to make sure that the children participate in homework activities. But how do you make sure that a child participates in homework when you're not at home with them? This becomes a burden on teachers during the time where there's supposed to be a teaching and learning, there's supposed to be assessing, and all kinds of activities that are supposed to go on at school. Educators also has to police and keep track of homeworks. What also happens is that when children are at home and they bring these different kinds of homeworks from different subjects, parents cannot cope with the amount of homework that children are given. Even the children themselves, they cannot cope with it. So what happens is this strains the relationship between the child and the parent, and parents are just thinking homeworks are a big headache, which comes to the thought of, I think that if you're a parent or an educator or policymakers, politicians, specialists, advisors, it is important that you read Alfie's article and judge for yourself. Have your own opinions on the matter. But I'm not going to talk about the article itself. I'll leave it to you to read the article and have your own opinions. But I am going to bring my own opinions into this. I think that homeworks should just be scratched. Banish homeworks. Send them to where they can never come back. Lock them up in prison or something. Kids don't like them. Parents don't like them. Educators pretend to like them. So no, nobody likes homeworks. And or we could have a second method where certain subjects abolished from having homeworks. How about maybe only languages get homeworks? Because in languages you get things like a child can be assigned things like reading a page from a book and then coming back, and then the kids can discuss the book at school, rather than giving a child science homework where there's no one who is an expert in the subject at home to help them. And that's my opinion.
But have you seen that new math though? I think parents might need a therapist because they're trying to help their kids with like the math.
Yeah.
When we look at the pros and cons, you'll find that homework really brings a lot of cons into the situation. Besides that, it's just a burden on teachers, really. Learners don't do their homeworks, and they don't like to do their homeworks. And homeworks is something that you take from school and then you're going to do at home. At home, you're supposed to arrive there maybe in the afternoon, and then it's night, and then you have to sleep and get up in the morning. when is this homework supposed to be done by a child that is in grade 6? When is this homework supposed to be done by a child that is in grade 9? So perhaps there has to be a consideration of why does a grade 3 learner need homework? And what proof is there that these homeworks actually improve learning and teaching and thinking? Because the most important part is thinking. Here is, should homeworks be scratched out? Should they just be moved out?